Target is near you, Agent.
Something I can't find wrong. Something I can't find wrong. It's okay.
Serious trauma detected.
Did I just respawn again? What's better than clapping one set of cheeks? Clapping two set of cheeks thanks to the Bewildered talent on the Turmoil kneepads working again. Haha, dag joke of the day. What is going on, dags? If you're new to the channel, welcome to Data Gaming. I'm your host, Nox, where my favorite thing to do is respawn, and it's not because I'm good. Yes, you have heard me right. Turmoil kneepads is double dipping damage again. So all those damage to target out of cover and amplified damage sources are going to apply twice to the secondary target of the Bewildered kneepads now.
These Turmoil kneepads, they're essential out here. They give you the flexibility you need in a firefight, but are tough enough to take a beating.
Earlier in the season, we got the bad news that now the damage is actually going to be split 50-50 like intended. But yesterday I was playing around with builds and I noticed something off with the damage numbers. And lo and behold, I tested it out and yes, it is double dipping again. So what does that mean for gameplay and damage? Well, normally the Bewildered talent was split up the damage 50 and 50. So if you do 200 damage, you're going to do 100 and 100. But now the way it's working is that the primary target is going to take the 100 damage and the secondary is going to take the 100 damage plus any type of damage to target out of cover or amplified damage sources is going to be added again to the secondary target. So now that total 200 damage might turn into like 250, 300. So you're doing 100 damage to the primary target and now you're doing 150, 200 damage to the secondary target, netting you a free damage boost. So why not? So here's the loadout. I have the TI car custom to make it easier to see how the double dipping was working. So I'm gonna shoot this target. And you can see the damage numbers are different because of glass cannon. The main shot's hitting for 450,000 and the secondary target was taking 515,000. And even though the Turmoil kneepad splits the damage half and half just because the secondary target is taking more damage, the Turmoil kneepads are adding damage. Now let's mark a couple of targets with the Negotiator's Dilemma. So I got 3 marked. You know, you can see the damage numbers. So the Negotiator's Dilemma proc is not going to get split up. It's just going to work as it's intended to work with the gear set. You're going to have the Turmoil damage doing its 50% and then it's 50% plus the double dipping. Then you're going to have the Negotiator's Dilemma on the side doing its things for up to 3 marked targets. Whenever you critical hit, the additional targets are going to take whatever the Negotiator's Dilemma says they're going to take. And with the TI card custom, because it gives you the +1 skill tier and I have Future Perfect, this is how you can increase the damage that your smart cover does by increasing its skill level. And just by holding a TI card custom in your hand, we are increasing the skill tier of the precision smart cover to skill tier 1, and it's adding an additional 7% damage to target out of cover, bringing us to a total of 21%. And if you're able to sneak in a kill, you can even increase the skill level even more, adding even more damage to target out of cover. So here's the damage with the TI card custom without the precision smart cover. 432. Now let's take it out. And you can see it went up to 522. And when you take out the precision smart cover, it's going to stay at whatever skill tier that it is when you pull it out. So let me show you what I mean. I have my Pestilence out. Now let's switch to TI card custom. And now you can see that I'm only hitting for 492,000 because I'm not getting that additional 7% from it being a skill tier 1. Now let's see how much damage the Pestilence does. It does have that 12% damage target out of cover, which is going to double dip to the secondary target for the Bewildered talent. Right now we're hitting for 279. Secondary target is taking 369. And so how you want to play this is you're going to want to spray and pray. Get as many Negotiator Dilemma marks out. Turmoil kneepads is going to do its thing. And then when you're reloading, you can still see that the plague is still ticking, taking out the enemies. And right now, without the precision smart cover, we're hitting for 967,000. So let's take out the precision smart cover without the TI card custom. Now you can see the plague ticks are hitting for almost 1.1 million. Now let's take out our TI card custom and get a couple kills for the Future Perfect talent. And now we're going to pull out our smart cover at skill tier 5. Now take out the Pestilence, spray and pray to enemies. Now you can see that the Plague of the Outcast is ticking for a little bit over 1.2 million. And what better way to exploit this damage boost? Well, I'm going to be running the Pestilence with the Negotiator's Dilemma gear set.
This right here, this is the Pestilence.
This build is going to be all about spraying and praying and getting your damage out there. On one side, we're going to have the Turmoil kneepads splitting the damage. And in conjunction with the Turmoil kneepads, we also have the Negotiator's Dilemma gear set. It's going to take your critical hits and apply it to multiple different targets. And while yes, you can use any gun with it and there are better weapon choices, I personally like the Pestilence because of the Plague of the Outcast debuff, which is going to apply a dot to the enemies that's going to jump around as well. So when you combine everything, the whole goal of this build is to spray and pray, spread out your damage, get everybody weakened, and have the Pestilence Plague of the Outcast talent kind of do its thing, jump around enemies that are weakened and take them out while they are hiding behind cover, running away out of your line of sight to shoot them. And this build shines the best if you're playing heavily dense type of activities. So doing control points or bounties is going to give you the biggest bang for the buck the way Negotiator's Dilemma stacks. And while yes, it still works fine for doing smaller things like public executions, just keep in mind you're not going to get the biggest bang for the buck when it comes to the Negotiator's Dilemma gear set stacking, but you're still going to do more than enough damage with all the damage spread that you're going to have with this loadout. And also running missions is going to be a breeze, especially if you're playing in a 4-man group. The strategy is you're going to spray and pray, try to mark as many people as possible for the Negotiator's Dilemma to come online, and then you're just going to focus fire on whatever's available. And while you're focusing fire, the Turmoil kneepads is going to spread the damage, Negotiator's Dilemma is going to do its thing, and once you kill the primary target, you're going to have the Plague of the Outcast doing its thing, jumping around the map, taking out enemies. And you could have multiple Plague of the Outcast debuffs on the field at the same time, so you could shoot one side of the field and focus on the other side of the field. That way now you have 2 Plague of the Outcast buffs. You're splitting your damage with Negotiator's Dilemma. You got the Turmoil's kneepads doing its thing, splitting your damage. You're literally going to be a room clearing monster from just hiding in one spot, focusing on one enemy at a time. And just keep in mind, like I said, this build shines the most if you're playing in heavily dense type of activities. And you already know me, I'm going to be playing with glass cannon as always, because my favorite thing to do is respawn. And I'm going to have the damage to target out of cover on the Pestilence, and I'm also using the Precision Smart Cover to give me more damage to target out of cover. And that's why the Turmoil kneepads is really good in this loadout. And just keep in mind, my loadout is not the only way to play this build. You can mix and match however you want. You could run the Negotiator's Dilemma backpack, you don't have to run it. And I know that not everybody has a Turmoil kneepads, but that's all right. I'm going to toss in another build to showcase this type of gameplay and play style without the Turmoil kneepads. So without further delay, let's get right into the build. Alrighty, Dag, starting off with the specialization, I'm going with the Gunner. And of course, for the primary, I'm using the Pestilence Exotic LMG. But like I said before, you could play this loadout with any type of gun. It's all going to do the same thing. It's just going to come up to how you like to play. For the secondary, you could put whatever you want. I have the Mop. For the sidearm, it's going to be very important to this loadout. You're going to want the TDI card custom. It's a PvP exclusive, and you can get it out of the named item caches. And the reason to use the TDI card custom is because it gives you a +1 skill tier, and I have the talent Future Perfect on it. That way I could get more skill tiers if I end up getting a kill with it. And the reason why you want to use this is because when you pull this out and you get the +1 skill tier, that's when you're going to take out your Precision Smart Cover. And the way that the Precision Smart Cover works is when you pull it out, it's going to stay at whatever current skill tier that you are. And just having the TDI card custom in your hand is just going to give this Precision Smart Cover more buffs and more damage. And once the Precision Smart Cover is out, just swap to your primary weapon and go ham. And like I said, the Precision Smart Cover is going to stay at whatever skill tier it was when you pulled it out. Moving on to the gear pieces, I am running all 6 red cores to get as much damage as possible for my Pestilence. And for the chest piece, I am running 1 piece of Petra for the 10% LMG damage, double crit, and I have a glass cannon talent on it, which is going to give me that 25% amplified damage. And this amplified damage is going to double dip with the Turmoil kneepads. And before we move on, the LMG does come with 12% damage to target out of cover, which is going to work with the double dipping on the secondary target with the Turmoil kneepads Bewildered talent. And you can see the Bewildered talent, when dealing damage to an enemy, 50% of the damage will be dealt to another enemy within 30 meters instead. And when you are fighting with only one enemy, the damage is still going to be split. And the secondary damage on the single critical target is also going to double dip. And then that is why I really like the Turmoil knee pads, because we're going to also have the damage to target out of cover from the Precision Smart Cover double dipping on the secondary target as well. Now let's move on to the Negotiator's Dilemma gear set. 2 pieces give you the 15% critical hit chance, 3 pieces gives you the 20% critical hit damage, and then 4 pieces is going to give you Hostile Negotiations. Critical hits mark enemies for 20 seconds, up to 3 targets total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take a total of 60% of the damage dealt. And Negotiators also has a stacking element to the talent. Whenever a marked enemy dies, gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times or until combat ends. So that's going to be an additional 40% critical hit damage you're going to squeeze out of this gear set. When it comes to the attributes, I got critical hit chance, critical hit damage everywhere. It doesn't matter where you put your critical hit chance, you just want to get as close to 60% as possible and dump the rest into critical hit damage or even weapon handling. Here's the holster, the gloves, and here's the backpack. And with the backpack, you unlock critical measures, increase hostile negotiations damage to additional marked enemies from 60% to 112%. And that is a really big damage boost just for having the backpack. Now moving on to the active modifier, I don't actually use the active modifier in this build. The reason is because I like the multitasker passive modifier because it gives you the weapon damage, bonus armor, and that +1 skill tier. But you can also play with the active modifiers. You'll just have to swap out this multitasker passive modifier. And when you use your active modifiers, you are going to get those little spikes of damage as well. But me personally, for playing heroic and below content, I just prefer to have my passive modifiers up all the time. That is just me personally. It is not the only way to play. It's just how I like to play. And for the other passive modifiers, I have the best kind of defense, and I have loaded up. And both of these are just going to increase the amount of damage I do when I'm actually hitting enemies with the Pestilence. For the first skill, I am using the Precision Smart Cover. I currently have the Multitasker passive modifier active, so it's at skill tier 1, and it's adding the 7% damage to target out of cover, putting me to a total of 21%. And like I said before, that's going to double dip to the secondary target of the Bewildered talent. And like I said before, an easy way to boost the stats of the Precision Smart Cover is just to whip out your TDR card custom. For the second skill, it's going to be up to you what you like to play. I personally like playing with the booster Hive because you get that weapon handling, and that weapon handling is going to be really nice because if you look at the weapon handling of the Pestilence, it is doo-doo. It is definitely not the best weapon handling, but thank God that the Precision Smart Cover gives you weapon handling, and then the booster Hive is going to give you weapon handling as well, making your experience a lot more better when playing with the Pestilence. For the critical hit chance, I am sitting at 57%, but that's getting boosted to 67% from the 10% you get from the Firearms Global modifier. I'm at 165% critical hit damage, but that can go over 200%. And then I got 105% headshot damage. Stat wise, I'm sitting just a little bit over 800,000 armor. I got 81,000 armor on kill to help me stay alive, and the rest of the defense stats are going to be doo-doo. Alrighty, Dags, thank you for watching this awesome Pestilence Negotiator Dilemma build. Let me know what you guys think about the Turmoil knee pads double dipping again. I'm really excited. I know that the Turmoil knee pads are not for everybody, and not everybody has them. Sorry about that. And for those who don't have the Turmoil knee pads, here's a quick template for the build without the Turmoil knee pads. I got the Ninja Bike Messenger backpack, Contractor gloves, Walker and Harris chest piece with glass cannon, and then I got the 3 pieces of the Negotiator's Dilemma. Same thing as before, everything is going to be red. We're going to have critical hit chance, critical hit damage to get to 60%. And the rest is going to go to critical hit damage. Contractor gloves is going to give you damage to armor. Walker and Harris is going to give you damage to armor as well. And like I said before, this is just a template if you don't want to run the Turmoil knee pads, and you can mix and match this build for however you like. Alrighty, Dags, if you made it this far, make sure to like the video, drop a comment below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you can get notified when all my videos come out. That's all for now, Dags. Happy farming, get up there and clap those cheeks double time.